What is going on, y'all? Safety Steve here. Today is finally the day we got all of our parts in for our AR-15 223 WYLDE build. So we're gonna make this a several different part video. We're gonna have part 1 going over the upper, part 2 going over the lower, probably part 3 going over the optic, installing that, and then part 4 will be strictly shooting. So if you guys are new here, please hit that like and subscribe button. We do gun reviews as well as different product reviews and shooting drills and firearms training. We really appreciate you guys, and if you have any comments, concerns, please let us know down below. I will put links to all of these products in the description below, so if you're wondering about any of these products you see in these videos, they will be down below. And I wanted to give a huge shout out to Palmetto State Armory, Roscoe Manufacturing, and Bowden Tactical. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to make this build possible, so thank you very much. Alright guys, stay tuned and we will get the upper going on. Alright, Safety Steve out. Alright y'all, welcome. This is going to be the upper build video. So we have our completed upper right here. This is a Wilson Combat upper. We have our 15-inch custom cross-cut rail from Palmetto State Armory. In the back we have our barrel nut here. We have our beautiful Roscoe Manufacturing 223 WYLDE barrel. And then last but not least, we have a Strike Industries Triple Crown Comp. And so we're going to take this, we're going to take you into the shop where we have our metal vise set up. We're going to vise this in a clamp so that we can install everything on here and get it torqued down to spec. So the barrel nut is about 35 foot-pounds. So we'll go over that when we get out there. So let's jump out to the shop, get this in a vise so that we can tighten everything up. Alright y'all, so we're out here in the shop. We have all of our upper parts here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our upper assembly in this clamp right here. So it just goes on just like so. Clamp it down, and then you have access to your barrel nut. So we're going to put this in the vise. Hold that down. Might actually move it a little bit forward. Alright, so then we have full access to everything. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our barrel, our absolutely gorgeous Roscoe Manufacturing 223 WYLDE barrel, and there's a little tab sticking up right there, and that's going to go in your cutout right there. So we're going to take the barrel and we're just going to tap it in just a little tiny bit until it starts going in there. Remember, we don't need to push it all the way in because that barrel nut is going to do that for us. So now we're going to grab our barrel nut, we're going to slide it over the barrel, and we're going to start to thread it on. So we're going to thread it on as much as we can by hand. Now we're going to torque it down to 35 foot-pounds. Alright guys, so I found a wrench that fit. We went ahead and torqued that to 35 foot-pounds. And so now we're going to install the compensator. So we're going to take this thread protector off right there. So our Strike Industries Triple Crown Comp comes with the compensator as well as a crush washer. So crush washers are very important on the way that you put them in. You're going to, there's a beveled side on one and there's a flat side, a little bit coned, caved in on the other. So you're going to put that rounded out part towards the upper receiver. So then you're going to thread on your compensator. And so this needs to go 180 degrees in order to be timed correctly. So we're going to grab a wrench and we're going to turn this 180 degrees until it is timed properly. So let me go grab a wrench and I'll be right back. All right, guys. So we have a 7/8 wrench right here. So we're going to tighten this 180 degrees until it is timed correctly. All right, so that looks really good to me. I'm going to keep it right there, and we are going to head back in the classroom to install the handguard and start finishing this build up. So we'll be right back. We'll meet you in the classroom. All right, guys, we're back in the classroom. One thing I did forget to mention out there in the shop, make sure you have your gas block on before you put your muzzle device on, because your muzzle device, your gas block will not fit over your muzzle device. So I went ahead, took it back off, put our gas block on here, and then I rethreaded it and retimed it to the 12 o'clock position where I wanted it. So now we're gonna go ahead and we're going to get the gas tube all situated. So we busted out our gas tube from Roscoe Manufacturing. Huge shout out to them. So they supplied the sauce kit. So basically the barrel, the gas block, the gas tube, the bolt carrier group, and so this perfect setup is supposed to work very, very well. So we are going to test the crap out of it, and we're going to do some accuracy tests to see what we can do. We're going to be shooting it all the way out to 250, maybe even 300 yards. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on there for you. We're going to put the gas tube on there. I'll show you how to do that. And then we will put the handguard on over that. All right, so our gas block came with 2 set screws that go in the bottom and a small roll pin to go into the tube itself to hold it in place. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our gas tube out, Roscoe Manufacturing. All right, now you'll see that there is one hole down below, one big hole, that's it, just one. And then on the top here, between these 2 grooves, that there is 2 holes on both sides going straight through. So you want your big hole to be facing down. You'll see that it has a little bit of a curve to it. It's done like that on purpose so that you can't put it upside down. So we're not going to put any set screws in yet. We're going to focus on getting our gas tube in our gas block, getting our pins set. Alright, so now we're going to try to get our pin set, which can be a little challenging because it's just so small of a pin. Not too sure. Oh, there's one punch. Alright. So we're going to start it the best we can. All right, since it doesn't want to go in there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to squish it on one side just a little tiny bit so that it'll be a little caved in so that it'll be easier to go all the way through. So we crushed it on the one end, so that's the end that I'm going to stick in there to start. And of course this one still doesn't want to go in, so we might have to squish it a little bit more. All right, that looks good right there. Maybe not. Squish it just a little bit more. All right, so now it's starting for us. So we're going to take our rubber hammer, and we're going to tap it in, and then before we drill it all the way through, we want to make sure that it's going through your gas tube. So we're going to take a punch, and we're going to punch it in the rest of the way. Again, making sure that it's in that tube like it's supposed to be. So now that we got it in there like it should, we're going to give it a little more oomph, make our screws go flying everywhere. So I'm going to put my set screws up there so that they don't fly everywhere. All right, and then I'm going to hit it in. This table's really soft, so I'm going to take it over to a wood table, finish tapping it in all the way, and then I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I went over to my wood table over there, which is a lot more sturdy of a table than this plastic one, and I knocked that roll pin in all the way until it was flush, so that we know it's in there nice and tight and it shouldn't move anywhere. So now we're going to take our other end and we're going to stick it in the hole of our upper receiver. So stick it in just like so, all the way. It should come to a stop because there's a shelf right there. So now we're going to flip it over and you're going to see that there's an indent on one of your set screw marks. So as long as that's lined up, you know that it's going to be up and down straight like it should. So we're going to take our set screws here, and what we're going to do is we're going to apply just a drop of blue Loctite. Make sure you don't do red or you're never going to get it out of there. So I always use blue. So we're just going to basically put a lot of drop on there. So we'll use that to put some on our other one as well. And we're just going to thread that in until it's about finger tight. Just leave it like so. We'll wipe away the extra Loctite. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our second one in there nice and finger tight. So once you have it in there nice and finger tight, we're going to take it and we're going to do just about a quarter of a turn. Whatever you can do to just kind of cinch that in place like it should be. So make sure that these are all nice and tight. All right. So with that Loctite in there, that shouldn't move at all for a while. So now we have our upper assembly pretty much completed. All we have to do now is put our rail assembly on it and go from there. So we'll be right back with our rail assembly. All right, y'all, we're back. We're about ready to put our rail on here. We have our 15-inch cross-cut custom Palmetto State Armory handguard. So this handguard is awesome because it has these little detents on here. So it makes sure that it's going to line it up perfectly when you put it on. So we have our handguard here, and then we have our 3-4 screws right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our handguard and we're going to slide it over our barrel assembly as well as our gas tube and gas block. It should come to a nice click right there like so. And now we're going to screw in this set screw that we have. I need to get a different size hex. So we're going to swap down here. One's a little bit too big. That one's like Goldilocks and just right. So we'll go ahead and put that in there so that that doesn't move on us. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our locking screws down here and we're going to put a little bit of that blue Loctite on each one as well. So remember, you don't need a lot. A little goes a long way. So we're just going to put a little bit of Loctite on each one. And now we're going to screw these into the handguard. down below, there's 3 screws right here. Alright, so again, we just want to get them finger tight at first, and then we'll cinch them up here in a second. But let's get them nice and finger tight. Alright, now we're going to double check our alignment, make sure everything's lined up nice, make sure it's all the way down like it should be. Looks good to me. So now we're going to tighten these. And so you're supposed to tighten this until a dime fits in it. So I don't have a dime on me, but I've done a lot of these to where I know I'm not going to over tighten it and I'm not going to break anything. And so we're going to start out and work our way in. So we're going to go to these 2 outers right here, and we're going to tighten them until that gap is about the width of a dime. So now we'll go to the front one, tighten that till about the same, and then we'll go to the middle one, and the middle one should be loose, and so we'll tighten that up just nice and snug. We don't want to give it too much pressure. Alright y'all, so we have our upper completely done, and we have our lower with our brand new trigger in it. So now we're going to put them together and complete this rifle. I wanted to put in the new Mantis X, the Mantis Blackbeard X, so that we can take a couple shots and I can show you guys the trigger. So all we do is go ahead and put that in instead of your bolt carrier group and your charging handle. You're going to pull your tabs out for your lower. You're going to insert the first one here. See if I can do this. Just like so. You're going to pull your trigger back. You're going to close it. And then you're going to put your rear pin in, just like so. And so we're going to switch it to safe. And then all we do now is we insert the Mantis Blackbeard X magazine, which holds your battery. And so we put it in there and it resets our trigger for us. So every time we pull the trigger, it resets it so we can keep shooting. And it also shoots a laser out of our barrel so that we see what we're hitting when we pull that trigger. So it is an amazing dry fire practice system. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get ready to throw on this 1x8 scope as well as this 45-degree green dot. And so we'll do another part video where we're going over that. So hopefully you guys join us for that one, and then we'll get out there and start doing some shooting. Alright guys, thanks for following, thanks for watching.